Our next speaker is Samara Lynn. She's from Manitou, Illinois, and she's studying secondary education with an emphasis in history. And her favorite TED Talk was Monica Lewinsky's talk, The Price of Shame. So let's welcome Samara. Come on up.
My grandfather used to work on small engines, like lawnmowers and chainsaws. So he used to own a shop in town when I was a little girl, where old men would congregate to shoot the breeze and poke around the store a bit. So whenever we're spending time together out on town, or we stop by old farmers, or the owners of the hardware shop, or just about anyone else that knows my papa, and they'll say to me, "Why, you're Tom's granddaughter. I knew you when you were just a little girl." This is rural, small town life. People know who you are, who your parents are, and who their parents were before them. And because people know who you are, they begin to expect certain things of you, and you begin to expect them of yourself. What people expected from a country girl like me is that I'd go on to a respectable, hardworking career, find a boy to date and eventually marry, and then we'd go on and have a couple kids of our own. So when I figured out my sophomore year of high school that I liked girls just as much as guys, I felt like a freak. This compounded with the fact that I didn't exactly have a positive self-image to begin with. My curves had begun to take shape in middle school, and I wasn't comfortable with them yet at 15. I thought I was fat. Other girls would make me feel like I wasn't pretty, and I felt that the only redeemable quality that I had was my mind. As a result of all of this, I took meticulous note of my feelings so that I would know when the day was going to be a good day, where I felt great and confident, and when the day was going to be a bad day, where waves of self-loathing would cause bile to rise to the back of my throat. But I could chalk all of this up to fluctuating hormones because I never felt that my problems were valid enough to be discussed. But what I couldn't shake off was the growing attraction that I felt for the same gender. I was so confused because I didn't know that being bisexual was an option. I thought that you were either gay or you weren't. This was the perception that I was raised with. Sure, there were one or two quote-unquote gays at our school that were out, and sure, they were tolerated. I never saw anyone outwardly bullied at school, but there was just this implied understanding that that sort of lifestyle was distasteful. If you were gay or questioning, you just didn't talk about it, and I think that that leads to a lot more angst than there needs to be in this process of self-discovery. Being gay, or lesbian, or bisexual, or whatever you identify with isn't a choice, because if it was, then I don't believe that people would choose to be disliked because of their orientation. This is a literal case of the wand choosing the wizard. Anonymity has a negative connotation, but anonymity can be a wonderful thing for a teenager, especially one who's confused and doesn't know who they're attracted to. And I don't know about all of you, but I feel more comfortable talking to a stranger. If I don't know them, and they don't know me, I could easily sit down and tell them my life story and listen to theirs, because I know that I'm not going to face the same judgment that I would from someone I know. This is why I want to create a program in high schools across America, but especially those isolated by their location, called Acceptance Anonymous. Acceptance Anonymous can be that safe place for teens to come to decompress and express a side of themselves that might otherwise remain hidden. There would be 2 meetings, either weekly or monthly. The first meeting would be one where kids could come and sit and chat about their lives and experiences to someone who's not going to judge them. The second meeting would be one where students would act as acceptance agents to answer an internet or phone chat line that students could call into to ask questions or talk about their lives to someone who's not going to judge them. This way they can talk to someone without fear of judgment from themselves, their peers, their teachers, or even their town. Lesson, the Gay, Lesbian, Straight Education Network, in a study done specifically on rural LGBT youth, found that 27% of rural kids had a gay straight alliance in their school. This was compared to the 55% of suburban areas and 53% of urban areas. Why do you think that is? Some people might say that there isn't much of a LGBT population in the country, but there is. I know because I'm a part of it. It's just in the proverbial closet. I think that the problem is that we keep quiet in rural areas about this sort of thing because it makes us uncomfortable. And what many people don't realize is that there could be dire consequences to coming out, especially in a small town. Despite the possible consequences, I came out to my family just this year. In fact, I finally told my Nana I was bisexual and dating my girlfriend on March 21st. Overall, I'd say that even if the reactions weren't pleased, they at least accept me and like my girlfriend for the most part. However, I have a friend. Her name is Kat. And she went through a questioning phase where she experimented a bit. And when her mother heard rumors of it, she told Kat that if she ever found out that she was gay, that she'd disown her and have her taken away to a straight camp. At my high school, there was no one Kat could talk to unless she wanted to take the chance of coming out to our circle of friends. Now, I say take the chance because she had no guarantee that one of our friends wouldn't go and out her. This was the reality that I myself faced as well, but I did take the chance and met my girlfriend as a result. However, not everybody is as lucky as I am. So what can we do to help those people who don't have a safe place but need somewhere to go to talk to someone? We create that safe place. I'd like to back up just a second and talk about what I felt in discovering my sexuality and just being a teenager in general. There is one statement that I feel sums the whole experience up. I felt alone. There were days where I felt so alone that I ached internally. Days where I felt worthless. Days where I hurt so badly as a result of self-inflicted internal hatred that I just wanted to curl up into a ball and go to sleep and just not wake up. I was so tired and so disengaged that I felt that I had nothing ahead of me to look forward to. That sounds a lot like depression, doesn't it? I never went to a therapist, nor did I talk about what I was feeling to anyone. This was something that I had to overcome on my own. And I feel that this is something that many teens go through when they're questioning. So is it any surprise then that Glesson found in their 2013 National School Climate Survey that teens who experienced higher levels of victimization due to orientation had higher levels of depression and self-esteem issues? What can we do to help these kids? How can we get them to open up and talk and understand that they aren't alone? We create that safe place. Acceptance Anonymous can be that safe place. I'd like to lighten up the atmosphere a little bit and talk about some more positive statistics from that same National School Climate Survey. When LGBT teens had a gay-straight alliance in their school, there were some interesting results. They were less likely to hear gay used in a negative way often or frequently. They were less likely to hear homophobic remarks such as fag or dyke used often or frequently. They were more likely to report that staff personnel intervened when hearing a homophobic remark. And they were less likely to feel unsafe in their school. Now, I've told you guys about my experience, and you know that I had no one to turn to. So I'd like you to take a second and imagine being able to reach out to somebody that you knew in the past. What would you say? What would you do? Would you offer them acceptance and show them that they're not alone? Unfortunately, we can't change the past, but we can change the future for LGBT teens across America, especially those isolated by their location, and give them hope. We can offer them the support that some of us may have lacked. We can create a new future by offering understanding, and with understanding comes acceptance. We can create that safe place.